Welcome back for game number 2 of Cloud9 versus Evil Geniuses. Crumbs, we had a lot of expectations for this series coming into one of the biggest Academy finals I think we've had since the league became what it is now. And game 1 delivered. I mean, a hugely back and forth game, very difficult to predict a winner. Cloud9 end up finishing the game very decisively, but the short-ish game time and how hard they won at the end of it does not tell the whole story of how we got to this spot as we load up Champs League for the next one.
Academy MSI always delivered. Despite being online, the stakes are still there, and so EG takes blue side, and this is where I want to see Cloud9 let Aurelia go through. We just want to see
just once.
if GU can play it and if Cloud9 has an answer, because Palafox's counter picks are really powerful. He obviously loves the Catherine from the last series, but you can play champions like Renekton in the mid lane. He actually has one game of that this season, so we might see the Aurelia getting fought fire with fire because of the red side ban implication that Cloud9 has to deal with.
Well, Yuumi going to be the ban here alongside Rek'Sai and LeBlanc, so continuing to kind of target Inori and Palafox's most played champions. Senna and Aphelios also going to fall at the wayside here because they are just too powerful for the most part. Even though both these ADs would love to get their hands on either champion, Aphelios especially, they've both had some success with. So we'll see what the last ban is here. Trying to think if anything obvious isn't banned yet. Kalista, I think, actually worth the attention, so I'm going to take that one away from Deathly.
There is so much available right now. And
ooh, Tahm Kench first.
Okay, so TK gets taken up. There's so many picks, but Ornn and Set are, I think, the biggest ones that Cloud9 would like here. I think Fudge prefers the Set side, so Cloud9 will likely just take just an EC Set and maybe even Misfortune since the prio has been so high, but breaking away Varus TK is also a fair strategy.
Yeah, I wonder if they take the MF, which was contested last game, or if they do just want the Varus. And King apparently says, I feel comfortable on Varus. As you mentioned, denying it away alongside the Tahm Kench as well. So
TK will be really good against Fudge because that last fight, Fudge just bodied Deathly. It wasn't even close. The poor carry could not deal with the blade set on top of you. So this to me tells me they want to protect Deathly a little bit more and have him be so powerful since he got so much gold and so many items that last game. It's a little bit frustrating if you can't deliver in the team fight because the peel was not there.
Yeah, a bit different here though for Deathly. Ashe, not really the champion he's been known for this split. Certainly is very good with Tahm Kench. This combination makes a lot of sense. But more utility, like definitely stepping further into being more of a role player this game. I think with how much topside attention there was for both teams, maybe the bot lanes are realizing we just kind of need to get through our lane because so much of the action is concentrated towards these solo laners and these junglers now.
Yeah, this is really doubling down on roaming and helping other parts of the map. You could even add the Hawkshot in there if you're worried about Inori doing some shenanigans with his pathing. And I'm already starting to feel like EU or the rest of EG have something spicy here because you have a lot of setup that allows you to be very flexible with your last two jungle and mid lane picks, which is the trend of Evil Geniuses, really prioritizing that mid 2v2 and taking away Cloud9's strongest skirmish 2v2 in Rek'Sai LeBlanc.
Yep, gonna take Gragas here early for Inori though, so I imagine Ander is gonna lose some champions in this phase of the draft for Cloud9 as Olaf indeed will get banned away. There's also the consideration of what do you do with Zoe? Do you ban her here? Do you just take it now for Palafox and deny it away from Giyu and potentially open up something like the Aurelia or another pick perhaps from Giyu?
If you want Zoe as Cloud9 here, I think you need to ban the Cassidy because EG would have no problem slotting a Cassidy in this composition. But hey, I mean, you just ban it and suddenly EG might be questionable because I think that Cassidy is the perfect Giyu pick. He's melee and happens to be a mage, so you're like, oh, it fits right into my wheelhouse.
Well, J4's the other ban, so targeting Ander here is actually Diamond loses Braum and Blitz, so taking the Tahm Kench counters, or at least the champions that can pressure the champion away. Very interesting to see Blitz banned here. That will leave Thresh open for Diamond if he wants it, but I think Matt feels probably pretty good in that matchup, in the 2v2. But yeah, what happens with Zoe in mid lane is really interesting. I imagine if you're Cloud9, you want to counterpick for Palafox, because again, he's shown a lot of different counterpicks, so it will be the Thresh for Diamond.
That's already 4 out of the last 5 picks for Cloud9, so they're giving us a little bit of the salty run back, but it's not them saying the salty run back, it's them saying this worked in our first game, we don't need to change it, and Evil Geniuses, lock it in, give us the Aurelia Sejuani we've wanted, and give us Giyu and Anda 2v2.
Well, they're going to give Giyu Aurelia, but this is something Cloud9 would have expected. They likely expected the pairing as well, but it might be more aggressive here from Anda. We'll see if he wants to go the Elise route instead of something like the Sedge. Certainly gives Anda more opportunity to make plays for himself, and that is the lock-in here. So what's the counterpick for Palafox? That's the exciting part, right? He has played so many different champions. He's played so many champions just one time, mostly just, you know, reserving a counterpick or wanting to play a particular matchup. So what does he have here for Aurelia? Is it just a Renekton? That would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, you're up against somebody that plays it all the time. It's going to be Kiana, Gragas, so really powerful team fighting. I think that's a stronger team fight than Aurelia Elise, so if Cloud9 can get to that stage, we might see them with a strong advantage. That's a throwback to last split.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. Like, I like how Cloud9 navigated this draft a lot, because they kind of gave themselves the best opportunity to, like, either go back to the early game with having all these picks they had before, or like counterpick and build team fight from this point. Like, actually leaving Palafox's pick as late as they did, given that they likely predicted what EG picked, they certainly expected the Aurelia, but they could have also inferred that Elise was probably coming as well. Being able to say, you know what, Kiana 1v1, probably okay, but not great. But we feel comfortable enough giving Palafox this much teamfight power and that he'll get through the lane matchup that Cloud9 can almost alter their plan from the early game they had in last game to now maybe a bit more scaling and a bit more security in the 5v5.
Yeah, and I think you spot on that they saw the Elise coming. It was banned in the first game, so this game should be telling of so much because EG just got their dream composition and Cloud9 crafted something against it. So if EG wins, suddenly it has to be banned and we're back to square one on the draft. If Cloud9 wins, well, they just beat EG's strongest comp. That speaks really well for closing a 3-0.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, Crumbs. We'll have to wait until we are going to find out the answer to those questions. We'll take a quick 5-minute break to preserve competitive integrity, as we do need to build up delay in order to make sure the online broadcast is as tight as it possibly can be security-wise. So don't go too far away. We'll be back in a few minutes to start game number 2. Welcome back to game number 2 of the Academy Finals here for Spring 2020. We're going to answer the question very soon, Crumbs. If Cloud9 are going to be 2-0 up in the series, or if EG can find a game and give us a tie to start things off. Because after game 1, I still don't know how to predict what direction this series will fall in. I think Cloud9 feel favored, given their history throughout this season, but that doesn't mean to say that this series isn't going to be close, and I think we still have more questions than answers even after one game.
Yeah, lots of questions here, and most of them around the mid 2v2, because now Giyu and Anda are on their main champions. Anda's Elise is his most played, and same thing with Giyu's Irelia. So if these two picks can't make it work for their mid 2v2, I don't know what else EG has in the tank, so a lot is riding on them this game, but I feel that because of how they played in the first game, the pressure is fine. They've been in this position before, and they've executed with melee matchups in mid lane, and against another melee, that is just a very easy champion to start fights with.
Yeah, I'm also expecting more topside focus in this game, kind of what we saw in game 1, which does buck the trend a little from what we expected for these two teams. But once again, it's 2 cleanses and 2 exhausts in the bottom lane, so going to be very defensive there. And I think more about what maybe can they do as a squad is Matt is going to sweep her up and rotate into the enemy jungle.
Ooh, okay, so they're going to split the map up right away, but C9 has more members here. Even Set is here. Oh,
Ooh.
EG's in trouble.
Yeah, this could be real bad. Palafox is moving in. He's going to get the W in and just try and whack down Ando. Matt's already dead. See you later. That's first blood for King.
What a sick play. They're using the blast cone and see. They didn't even have wards, by the way. They were just chilling there and saw it happening and immediately responded. This is a big trouble for EG. They wanted to split the map, and now Anda falls behind in his route and will also not have eyes on what Inori is up to. So good opening there from C9, and it only costs Fudge's flash and TP.
Yeah, Fudge is the one that's sacrificing a lot to make sure that play happens, because I assume he took E level 1 as well, which probably isn't too bad given how good his passive is, and the matchup in general I think means Set feels pretty comfy, but I'm curious to see if that does affect Fudge at all, especially if Anda does want to go visit up there early on. But it doesn't look like Fudge is too shaken off his game, despite using a lot of early cooldowns to ensure first blood for his bot laner.
This is the champ you want to be using those spells early, knowing that against Ornn you're probably not getting punished, especially Ornn Elise. So Elise, she'll be going buff to Gromp, and now it's about time to gank. So level 3, let's see the party. There's a wave crashing on mid lane, and same thing with top. So Anda, the ball is in your hands.
Yeah, Palafox already leaving, actually can threaten at level 3 now to maybe find a roam. Instead, we know, and Giyu now does as well, that he is just going to move back down and keep laning, but always a threat for both Irelia and Qiyana to roam pretty aggressively, which we've seen from Giyu especially in recent games, but certainly Qiyana fits the roaming style from mid lane as well, if Palafox wants to do more of that this game.
That's a really nice ward there to spot out Anda. Unfortunately, he does not suspect that he's been spotted, so a bit of a wasted effort out of him. Knows that the doubles are down because of that earlier Scryer's Bloom, but the bottom scuttler taken down by C9, so very slow early beyond that first blood. And the first dive comes here. Fudge, the poor man, big wave, 3 people, no one there to help him. I think
no
he's
flash.
dead.
Yeah, looks not good, but he's gonna try and maybe thin the wave out. He knows he has to punch it down, but he's just dancing around. He dodges the first cocoon, gets them together. Haymaker out. Very nice play. Anda, though, does re-aggro, but he managed to go back up into the sky as Fudge will be felled by Giyu.
That was closer than I think it should have been.
That was really close.
But hey, they got the kill on the most important member, which actually is way more valuable than initially would appear. So I think that this is a really good move there from EG, the fact that he gets it. And if Fudge can actually win this...
Oh no, Brandini.
Use the minions?
Oh, what a flash! Inori Tried to make it happen, but Brandini still has it. I like the attempt from Inori, but level 3 to level 5 always going to be tricky.
The cannon wave is so dangerous there, and he knows what happened to Palafox that last game over the Baron wall, where the Ornn was just barely able to trade kills, so he doesn't want to risk that. Just turns the flash and says, all right, you can get your farm.
Is kind of behind on a tool to potentially gank himself now, though, so Inori probably going to continue farming pretty quietly through the rest of this early game. But we'll see. Like you mentioned, Fudge was the one that had to sacrifice things in order to give King his first blood advantage, and EG correctly punishing that disadvantage Fudge had. So we'll see if that has any continued repercussions here, as Palafox and Gyu still dancing it out here in mid.
And now the Irelia is going to stay in lane a lot longer with that Vamp Scepter, so let's see if she can actually find a way to pressure Palafox and then start roaming around. So first dibs came to her, and unlike most times where you see Qiyana in mid lane, that she's rushing mobilities and then just going everywhere in the map, she's just going for pure laning there with long swords to be able to at least deal damage to Gyu if Inori shows up.
Yep, has to at least have some presence in the lane, I think. Also helps farm, which helps given that you're probably expecting to be pushed in quite a lot. And with the Corrupting Potion now with level 6, Palafox feeling just fine here, even in CS in his matchup. Nice Drake take as well for Cloud9. They're actually up 400 gold, plus that Drake, thanks to that first blood that they were able to get at level 1. But the game is far from over here. Cloud9 just simply putting their feet down pretty nicely here to start off this game, as Fudge, despite the disadvantage he handed himself, helping his team and TPing up. He's still playing that matchup. He knows that, without the jungle here, I can pressure this on. Gyu looking for the 1v1, but Palafox did not quite get the stun, I think, or instead Inori now going to dive back around, but Irelia is low-ish, gets ignited there. Now 3 people in. Showstopper going to put an absolute stop to that as Fudge picks up the kill.
Wow, okay. So that's what the plan is around Gyu's Irelia. Just send more people. So 3 people is what it needed. And if Gyu had Ignite, I actually think he would have been able to trade a kill there. So very dangerous out of him, and still having that flash up means he's as dangerous as he was before he went down. So Cloud9 will have to make repeat visits to that lane.
Well, flash Ignite up for Gyu, and Palafox had to burn both his summoners to ensure that kill. But I do like that Cloud9 are willing to put pressure on this Irelia. I think you have to. I think too many teams have let Gyu get away with just hanging out in the lane and then leaving to the side lanes. If you're going to give up, a champion he clearly knows very well, his most played champion on the season, you have to have a plan, and Cloud9 clearly have that here in this game.
Yeah, lots of CC as well, so unfortunately that one was close because the ult missed from Palafox on the stun, so next time I think he'll be just fine.
Well, Fudge also feeling fine here in the top lane. Does have to finish up the farm there that Brandini did push in thanks to Fudge's roam, but Fudge has his flash and TP almost back up off cooldown, and he got himself a kill to join his assist and his death. So Fudge feeling great here in the matchup. Palafox without his summoners, maybe feeling a little bit more pressure here, but again, Inori is 6 with his flash coming back off cooldown. Maybe he can make something happen here in mid as well.
It's a cheeky little stun there out of Gyu, having some fun there with that E. And now Inori, he's got Predator, he'll have his flash back up, and he's got his Thresh roaming to the Scuttler. And you have Tahm Kench as well. He's not level 6, but Ashe is, so it looks like they're not going to let this Herald just go for free, and Cloud9 wants to fight it.
Yeah, it seems like the mid laners need to tussle and then decide. Looks like Palafox will roam first. Diamond actually going to find the flare onto Brandini. Gets the hook as well. Good face breaker there to stop the ulti. Showstopper bring him out of the way on Brandini. Almost left for dead. Diamond's going to flash in there and try and take him down. Supreme display of talent does find the stun, but Gyu now in the pit, ready to go as Diamond. He went way too aggressive there and will fall to deathly. Gets the hook onto Gyu, but the Rift Herald goes over, and it is EG that claim it.
Oh no, they just leashed it for EG, and they committed so much to taking down Brandini. He's the tankiest member on the team, and that is exactly how EG would have dreamt this fight to go, because no one died, they got some kills, got the Herald, and now are primed to take a top lane turret as well with this Herald. Boy, let's take a look at how this all started, because first you see Diamond here thinking, okay, maybe I can just get Brandini out. And he goes on a wild ride here with all his CC. Like, how much lockdown is he in still, right? So that's about 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then barely makes it out. This is where should have maybe pulled out, but they had already lost the Herald because they committed everything to a target that didn't die.
Yeah, ill-advised flash there from Diamond. Kind of makes the worst out of a bad situation, I think. And EG punished accordingly. So they'll be back in the driver's seat with a gold lead of close to 1,000 and that Herald to bring the plates down and get that gold lead pumping up even higher. But I at least appreciate that Cloud9 are not slowing down their aggression. It's one of the few missteps I feel like we've seen from Cloud9 as Diamond flashed in after the Ornn that's 2 levels ahead of him. People keep getting baited by Ornn, Crumbs. That's what I'm learning from today. Oh, good stun. No follow-up here, but nowhere to go, and a forced to flash out and smite the Krog for a bit of extra health. The Drake up in 10 seconds, that might mean the objective goes to Cloud9.
I suspect that his repel was just a tad bit out of range of those Krugs, because having to burn that flash afterwards doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, whatever it was, and has to commit that extra cooldown. EG will spot the Drake being taken here with the Hawkshot. Fudge though in trouble, gonna have to flash maybe. Does do so, gets out of the cocoon as well, but now EG can TP in and collapse in onto the objective. The Drake will reset. EG are going to move in to try and fight here. Fudge with the ulti, but no flash, remember.
They have really good zone control here on that little corner with Ornn being able to just hit everybody with that ultimate. So a really nice TP for a super valuable dragon. Those little extra stats will add up when you're dealing with so many tanky champions, and Tahm-Kench, Ornn, and even to an extent the Aurelia that will want to stay alive a little bit longer in these fights.
Well, Herald channeled here. EG are going to commit to knocking down plants off the bottom side of the map. Shelly going to move in, get in range for the charge.
Brandini.
And definitely going to make sure he's in range for the plates. Is Brandini maybe even sticking around, but going to go back instead.
Suspect that he was looking for a counter gank there, as you saw that Gragas was just chilling there in the back. But the story of the first 2 games has been very safe bot lanes. So the lack of action here seems to be a trend that both lanes are okay with, and are just happy with making their presence be felt in a team fight, which is something unusual. But we have heard from players coming to North America that say that a lot of people don't like to play lanes to just crush and win. It's a lot about being able to survive and then group up with your team.
Yeah, for now, lane's actually pretty even across the board. Is a nice lead for Giyu individually in his lane. Fudge has kept it close in top lane, but Brandini catching that wave means that he will be ahead of the curve a little bit. As expected though, Aurelia not slowing down, and Fudge is going to try and bait in here. Brandini probably suspects something's up. Does get himself Cutlass, Showstopper back in, and Nori going to send him all the way back downtown. Here's the Ram, knocks him away. Haymaker does connect with the Ram, it's still there. Brandini finds the angle, but he's absolutely dead. No flash and no hope as Fudge takes him down.
I think he saw really late that there was an option to maybe try to take down Inori. There was a stopwatch anyways, but it's the way that these top lane fights have been going. There's so much damage in Zed and Ornn that they are so close to being able to turn these 1v2 plays, and that kind of action around the lane needs to be met with counteraction. And so while Anda is here, Giyu is not. So a dive cannot happen in this lane. Instead, it's only a little bit of damage that isn't even going to net you a tier 1.
Yeah, first top tower though, including all its plates, is going to go over to Fudge, who's continuing to build strong individual performances and a strong lead as well. Pretty impressive that a team that did not get the Herald is the one to take the first tower, but that's just some great assistance there from Inori, and he and Fudge knowing they could lock down Brandini long enough there.
Elisa and Aurelia are grouped up now finally, so we might get to see these two do something 2v2 looking for Palafox, but they haven't found much except that dive top, which I think is odd considering the draft priority that EG has had. We haven't seen these two be a group squad like we expected.
Yeah, Palafox, I mean, he's just being respectful, you know, knows he's down CS, but isn't challenging Giyu on the waves. Teams are aware of the potential roams that Aurelia can have, and Inori's back down towards the bottom side here for Cloud9, trying to protect any threat that may happen, as Fudge has finished that Blade of the Ruin King now. So, you know, if it was problematic earlier in those trades, now Fudge can really threaten on 1v1.
4 Blades of the Ruined King have been completed.
Of course, that's the meta now.
Yeah. Blades as well as the Umbral Glaive there for Palafox. So I personally like that one a lot as an item. It's kind of crazy with the cooldown being so low. It's 45-second cooldown, lasts 8 seconds of your active. So really you're getting a 37-second cooldown. And Palafox is engaged on.
Vanguard's Edge, Lantern is there. Palafox clicks it and gets out of there. King no slowed, Flash is good, but knockup is better. Brandini able to follow up on Inori, throwing the party keg out there. But the party's already over. EG get their kill.
Brandini there making his ultimate be so valuable. Finding King, and now that the Varus doesn't have Flash again, we know how EG like to play around that from that last game. Just finding those targets that don't have spells up and continue to pick on them. They're already in the 1-3-1 phase with Giyu on the sidelines, and this is where it gets tricky for Cloud9. Who answers the Irelia? Because, yes, Ornn will answer the set, but Irelia will be able to just bully Palafox as Elise continues to camp this lane. They will win this 2v2.
Yeah, I mean, Giyu doesn't have TP, but still can be a side lane threat as well in this game. Palafox is just going to scoop up the minions there in top. Rift Child number 2 did also go over to EG, so they can maybe finally now find their first tower of the game. But there is a Drake to play for as well. Is Cloud Rift this particular game? 10 seconds till that Drake is spawning.
10 seconds, no one is going to use a TP for that. Everybody's grouped itemizations are here. You got to do the stopwatch check, so there's 2 on both supports and jungle, so Cloud9 has good ways to engage, and same thing with EG, so this is going to be a highly mechanical fight until someone gets picked off and we don't get a fight and it's Jinx, but we'll give both options their due time.
Certainly the expectation is pretty hectic 5v5 is brewing. As both teams are also jostling for mid priority. Giyu cut off a little bit. Palafox also trying to find somebody lazily wandering towards this side of the map, but it is EG that find themselves outside the Drake first. Cloud9 going to move in slowly. Palafox with the flank here. Giyu also holding off to the side. Oh, Palafox is in there. Supreme display of talent. Stuns too, but the repel is good there from the Elise. Brandini, though, showstop to death, as now definitely is going to get pulled in as well. Fudge with a haymaker as Time Canch will save him, but Fudge is just chasing him down, and Ori's in there as well. Definitely going to get killed by a barrel from Gragas, and Cloud9, they find the team fight they were looking for.
What a great engage from Palafox. The classic Kiana play, flash over into ultimate, and no one could answer that. Ornn immediately deleted, didn't have ultimate up, so there wasn't even a chance for EG to look for that engage in that time. That speaks really well for C9. Their answer to the Irelia is paying off.
I mean, I love the decisiveness from the team, but Fudge is just having a hell of a series so far. He has definitely on speed dial, Crumbs. Every single time a fight breaks out, he is just in there stopping the show. Let's watch this again.
All right, let's see it from Fudge's perspective, because he caught Ornn and then just whacked him straight into the poor Ashe. So instantly, bam, 2 people get stunned, gets the cleanse, gets the repel out of Elise, so she can't hit you with a cocoon. She's out of the fight, right? In stasis, while Fudge is just wrecking havoc on the backline. Even get some help here. And it's that engaged. It was just solely Palafox, and the fact that Ornn did not have ultimate when Cloud9 was approaching. So EG didn't even have the opportunity to turn. That should have been communicated, and they should have either tried to stall or just give up that objective. It's only the first of the solidified, or first of the map Drake, so not a big deal.
No, I mean, I think you can afford at least to give one up there. EG, were correct to look for something, but as soon as Brandini was kind of not going to find the fight they were looking for, EG a little too committed there as they do channel the Herald here, and at least to try and take down the tower here in mid. Always an important structure to take. King and Diamond here going to try and delay it as long as possible, and the tower will stay up at least. Low but not out here as Cloud9 still building up pressure. Fudge is back down to the side lane, but EG are trying to play as 5 here. There's the ulti out of Ornn. Palafox though jukes out of the way and takes the lantern. The safety is Inori will commit the ultimate just to make sure, but Giyu now tied up again. Good devour there from Matt. Was necessary to save the Irelia.
That was really close there. At least this turret is very low, and with all these ultimates, it looks like no fights will happen, so they'll stay alive. But we're starting to really see EG kind of struggle to find these picks. They continue to be happening around mid lane and nothing in the jungle or in the side lanes, which I think just continues to play to Cloud9's strength.
Yeah, again, Fudge's got side lane supremacy in this matchup, is threatening this tower here in bottom lane. Also maybe a dive, and oh, they spot him. That's such a good route, and better get out of there as the repel lands. The Supreme Display of Talent almost clips the Elise, but is not quite there. Now they're going to dive instead onto Brandini. See you later as the Haymaker comes down onto the Ornn, and they take the tower as well.
Irelia is taking a tier 2 right now. He's going to be able to secure it, so it's still positive for EG in terms of map pressure, but it's not looking good from Brandini. Stuck on Ornn duty and continuing to get picked on every game. They're looking for the Ornn, and he played 4 games of Ornn in his last series, so he hasn't changed runes, he hasn't changed much for the last few games, and if that's going to be the identity for EG, I think this is time to start throwing a curveball at Cloud9 because they've caught onto it and they're letting Fudge just run away with the matchup he's got.
I think if that's going to happen, right, it's try and get more value out of where you are putting priority. You know, it's your mid-jungle 2v2. How much have we talked about Anda and Giyu this playoffs in Academy? And Cloud9 are also shutting that down, which I think is part of the larger problem. It's not like, yes, Brandini is being put in bad spots, but he's expecting that to happen. Giyu and Anda are supposed to be like taking over this game. And yes, Giyu can side lane, like he's still very threatening on the Aurelia, but he has not had like the early mid game that we've come to expect from this kind of combination.
I think you're totally right, because Ornn is not going to win you the game. You didn't pick the Ornn to win you the game. You picked Irelia Elise to be that, and we didn't even see a single gank on Palafox, really. Like, was there a stun into a flash cocoon or anything of the sort? It was C9 that initially ganked Giyu with 3 and 4 people at the end.
Also curious to see if he is going Trinity Force here. It does seem like he might have changed things up in the build. Seen a lot of Wits End second from his Aurelia. With the Blade of the Ruined King, that attack speed is just so nice, but might be going for a little bit more traditional now of an Aurelia build after that Blade of the Ruined King, which still is a must build item, is very powerful on this patch on melee champions.
Got Ornn collapsing now. 30 seconds on this dragon. EG should be not advised to fight here 5v5 just straight like that. They need another angle, just like Irelia and Akali need as just bruiser assassins.
Oh, good hook again. Lots of pick here for Cloud9, so need to kind of chip away at EG. Can't just fully commit for a 5v5 like, say, the Ornn can, right? That is one of the advantages they have. Oh, Palafox, he's found the stun. He's taken out Anda. Showstopper in again. Matt now going to be the target they'll deny, and Brandini left to the Wolves as well. It's a double kill for Fudgy as Palafox finds the third.
Just brutal there for Cloud9. They knew that Fudge had the inside track from bottom, and even Palafox flashing in there and gets Deathly's flash from that. They're going to go straight to Baron. EG cannot do a thing about it, and this draft from Cloud9 and the way they're playing around the 2v2 skirmish, just going into team fights and engaging so quickly, is something that EG just has not dealt with. No one has tried to answer this 2v2 in this fashion before.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like individually Giyu's even, you know, down in the matchup. I mean, he's on his most played champion, 50 CS ahead of his opponent. Like, he's not in a bad spot at all, but Cloud9 clearly picked this Qiyana wanting to be aggressive, wanting to force fights, and they have forced every single encounter so far in this game. Nice trade of the Drakes here for EG, so at least they'll keep that even, but they can now have to weather 2 minutes and 40 seconds of a rampaging Cloud9 with Baron.
So Palafox sneaks in here, and this is where I'm really surprised why EG moves further in this direction. You had full vision, you even have Ashe to scout, and so the second that they already march right on through, this fight is over, and they never stood a chance. They need to use their vision tools to determine where the best avenue of engage exists, and if there isn't one, to not even look for the fight.
Yep, instead Cloud9 rocketing up to 3,000 or 4,000 gold ahead, and gonna make it many more than that if they can get their way on this push. 2 minutes of Baron still left to play with.
Oh boy, two minutes of Baron left to play with still, right? Like, that just shows you
it's a lot.
how much power this team has right now. Grouping up here, Giyu is not in a position to get any objectives until he crashes that wave into the turret. So we might see a Cloud9 team just tower dive EG and end this game right here.
Yeah, I don't know if this side lane pressure is warranted from Giyu for right now. Like, Fudge already powering up. Gonna speed in, see if he can't find a pick. Now Giyu's gonna back. Cloud9 though, plenty of free time on this tower. Lantern there for the Varus to make sure King stays safe. And they'll get that tower almost completed after taking down the tier 2 in bot as well. Tier 2 in mid also falls, so they're kind of starting to collapse in mid and bottom lane now as C9 just want to crack open this base and get access to these inhibitors.
Kiana's coming, so they're about to take this area. Watch the cannon. One more.
One more.
Pow!
Alright, nails it there. It's definitely on the Fudge. Lantern out. Oh, it missed from Brandini.
Great cast there from Inori.
Oh, it was a cast. Okay, I was trying to figure out. I'm like, there's no way he just didn't click on it. But you're right. It was Gragas displacing the Ornn nicely to prevent that ult follow-up from happening. Arrow out, though, as Inori goes hard 90 degrees right.
Not what you'd expect for that kind of body to be able to dodge out of arrows so swiftly.
It's like Bob from Tekken. No one expects how fast he is. But I like it from Inori. That's like the absolutely I don't want to mess this up somehow angle to get out of that skill shot. Like sometimes people pick like really thin angles. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna juke a little bit, and you get clipped by a weird part of the hitbox. And Inori's like, absolutely not. I'm going in the furthest direction away I can from that arrow. It just dips right.
No chance.
Yeah, exactly. He remembers what happened to Clear Level those years ago. All right, Cloud9, no Baron, but still plenty of pressure to play with. Fudge is lining up the top tower here. It's the second one left. In fact, it's the only tier 2 left for EG right now. And they're going to hold on to it, at least try to. Definitely zapping away here with the lethal tempo and the Rune's Hurricane.
Okay, so it looks like EG, they know what's going on, right? They're getting bullied around the map, and they're looking to try to get a fight. Otherwise, Brandini would not be this grouped with them, but they need to get different angles because they keep attacking Cloud9 from just everybody in the same direction. It's not worked before. It worked one time when they had a flank, and that's what's really surprising to me, that EG is not looking for these opportunities. Even though you have Giyu being able to push so far into the lane, that's a good way to just push up and then fall back into the position that you need to take for these team fights. Because right now, farming is not going to win you the game as EG. Being able to turtle back and be like, yeah, we're going to be fine. Like, no, that's not the case. So they need to prioritize positioning and the setup for the next fight. If you can control the terrain and understand where the fight's going to happen, it's so much easier to pull it off.
Yeah, you can see Fudge, 3 items now, 6, 1, and 4. I mean, he contributed a lot in game 1, but was maybe a little more quieter. This has been a very loud affair for him in game number 2. And he'll have plenty of pressure for that in-hit. So the arrow is going to hit into mid lane. Good Vanguard's dead. King is under fire, but a cask again from Inori. Disengages the Aurelia. Powerfox looking for the wraparound. Varus will finally die as Diamond is going to go down to Ander eventually, but it's just absolute mayhem in the mid lane as Powerfox is able to take down deftly. They're still alive, but EG need to be careful. Powerfox gonna dive back in. They're gonna try and finish off the fight. Fudge is charging up the laser. W Haymaker comes out. Matt's gonna get chased down. It looks to be an ace here as Matt's gonna flash to relative safety. As Brandini's also zipping out of the way, but Powerfox is going to chase in. He's got no flash. He will be slowed. Matt is going to die eventually, so he's forced to give his life away. And it's only Brandini that escapes, and I'm not sure he's even out yet as Powerfox, he's still chasing him, Crumbs.
He wants him. Oh, so close. One more E from Brandini. I think he's clear. But that fight was so close. It was what EG needed to look for. They actually found the angle, but unfortunately, Thresh Varus with the double defensive summoners is so hard to kill, and it looked really cool when the cast would displace Aurelia back, but then the hook kept her in range. But all in all, man, this Aurelia does damage, but Fudge is just on another level. This set needs to be banned from this point on in this series, because clearly EG is not addressing the top lane, and this pick is running away with it.
Yeah, I mean, whole top side is just, flashing gold with bounty money right now for Cloud9 Academy. Continuing to build up that lead. They're up to almost 7,000 gold ahead. We've taken the third dragon, so now can threaten for the soul. Baron is back up as well for them to play around, so no need to really slow down for Cloud9. They can just go straight back to what they were doing. They've got the big open lane in bottom lane. if they want to try and get some split push action happening. Although with Fudge having no TP, I think they'll just stay 5v5 for now. Lantern out, see you later. Merc Tread's going to make that arrow not really an issue.
They're starting to feel frustrated from the Thresh when he gets to play Lantern duty. It's really tough when you have these single target pick champions. It's only Ornn that actually has a very good AoE engage, and so everyone else is just having a really tough time finding a way to stick on C9 members.
Well, again, the frustration may be mounting here. They get the knock up onto Diamond, but they can't follow up, and Honori's wrapping around. What a cask! But maybe a little too much as Palafox. He's the real reason that they're trying to buy time. Fudge is face breaking in. He's haymaking around. That is so much damage, and he is just unkillable. King will get doped by Gyu, but the Lantern at the last second will save the Varus. Gyu's going to get chased down. It's only him and Brandini left alive as Cloud9 look to sweep up for a real ace this go round. And Honori, he gets it done. Gyu's in the enemy base now as Cloud9 are going to look to end game number 2.
Well, at least this
maybe not. To Baron instead.
This is a safe location to base.
He found it. He found the only way out to prevent the ace. But not going to be able to get the Baron out of Cloud9's hands.
C9 controls so much of the map. The only place he can escape is within their own base. So it's looking rough, man. You saw Fudge in there with 3 people, and no one could even touch him. This Ashe, like, how is she supposed to do damage to Fudge? No one even has healing reduction except Ornn. So if Ornn is not in the fight, he's just always topped off.
Well, again, this looks kind of wild from Honori, as the ulti was attempted here by Brandini, but Palafox knew what he was doing here.
There's no follow-up, and so a good cast there, but then Palafox goes on Elise, she's a stopwatch, and then watch Fudge. Like, he's already against 3 people, and then just deletes them. Through the redemption heal was sick.
What an ult from Palafox there to set up the set. I mean, solo laners have been having a real good series so far for Cloud9 Academy. And still claim the Baron. How did he die? I guess
Red Smite.
Red Smite. Okay, yeah. Challenging Smite. That makes sense.
Well, 10,000 gold lead.
That's a lot. It's usually the point where we say, yeah, this lead is about as insurmountable as they come. Lantern out, EG. I mean, they have to do something. Hey, at least get the ulti out of King, but it's just starting to... It must feel so frustrating.
They need to strike from a different angle. They keep coming through mid lane. Like, why is this the angle, right? You can have different approaches to the same fight. And we have Ashe Arrow to even... Or Ashe Hawkshot to scout that, so... I think they might just be getting in their own heads because this is uncharacteristic. They were not playing like this against Dignitas.
All right, well, we'll see if they can hold the line for a minute 20 longer. Still no inhibs taken for Cloud9 Academy, but Fudge is trying to make that not true as he's working on the bottom side. Rest of Cloud9 here in the middle. And the Baron up creeps will start to threaten this inhibitor tower in mid. Just got to clear out the pesky minions in the way. Definitely, though, going to shoot that cannon, so going to have to wait. Got about 2, maybe 3 more ways for Cloud9 here to push in with the Baron.
1-3-1ing, so trying to get as much gold as possible and pressure on the map. Just simple, right? The Baron will expire, you fall back into the Dragon, and they don't need more objectives to go for a win here, so even threatening things like Elder is not necessary for how strong Cloud9 is right now. They just need to get EG out of the base and into a fight. It worked!
Another arrow lands. King into Zhonya's this time around. There's a good stunt from Ander, and Diamond gets away, but King is not lucky this time. Fudge, though, will finish off that inhibitor. So they're going to have to cut him off, but he's running towards the rest of his team. Stun lands there in onto Honori, though, who's now the next one caught out, but he just bops the Elise.
What?
Straight in the head. And Fudge actually might be able to turn this back around. They're going for it. Fudge is in. He tries to face break, but the Devour from Matt is nice. Showstopper, though, is going to say, no, I don't think so. He's exhausted, but I don't think it's going to do too much. Oh, my goodness, that haymaker. I cannot believe that killed deftly. With an exhaust as well, I believe. Fudge is just too powerful right now.
AD in 2020, man.
Matt's out of there. He's like, see ya, Brandini.
God, playing Ashe against that is so tragic. Poor Brandini.
Oh, what a play from Diamond as well. Into the hook. Palafox gets the kill, and Cloud9 gonna bust through mid as well. Gyu's farming, but that's not a safe place to be right now. In fact, where he was before, back in Cloud9's base. Seems like one of the only places where he's not going to get attacked.
Yeah, C9's already running with their jungle, their base, so might as well try to look for something in another part of the map. But I think the play that they kept going for worked on mid, because as someone that has tried that play a million times and learned from how it fails and how it works, Diamond must have used his Lantern for somebody else at one point, and if Lantern was on cooldown, then you can't save the Varus, because otherwise he would have just taken that and gotten out in the exact same fashion we'd seen before.
Yeah, I mean, had to burn through all his sums as well. Like, it takes a lot of investment to kill this Varus, and King's even going to have them back up the next time they try it, so they had to go for it. They kept going for it, and they at least got the kill, but Cloud9 were able to answer and retaliate very abruptly. And it is the Cloud Soul now for them as well. Gonna march towards Elder if they even need it. Baron up in a minute 30 if they even need that. It's 2 inhibs down with only 1 left in mid. And those precious Nexus turrets and the Nexus to contend with.
Just siege on mid, let those creeps crash. They're about to get into EG's base. EG has terrible wave clear when it comes to super creeps, so this push is going to be tough, but it engages first.
Yep, going for the fight instead. The Lantern goes off, but they're too far back despite the 2-man connection there from the Ornhorn. Diamond though putting up the box. Fudge again. Just showstops in there. He just doesn't care at all. Palafox dancing around. He gets 2 with a supreme display of talent stun. A knockup is good for Brandini, but Cloud9 at this point are just too strong. King flashes in, cleanses off the CC, and is going straight for the throat as Fudge barely gonna miss the haymaker, but Palafox is gonna flash in instead to finish off Elise. Matt, the only one left alive. The Nexus is theirs, and Cloud9 are gonna go 2-0 up in style, Crumbs.
This is such a good game for Cloud9, beating EG with their strongest picks, having prepared what they needed, executed with it. This is a really dangerous squad, and they are 1 game away from being our 2020 MSI Academy champions.
And you said it, Crumbs. You know, if they can beat this comp, what do EG do? We're not gonna know for a little while, but seems tough, most certainly, as we're going to let them contemplate during the break. On the other side of that break, though, the Tigers and the State Farm analysts will break down the game.
I'm Randy Diaz, mayor of Seltzer, Pennsylvania. If you love Bud Light like me, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's a hard seltzer from Bud Light. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. If you don't love Bud Light, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's not Bud Light, it's hard seltzer. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. Questions? Call us now.
Welcome back to the Academy Final, where Cloud9 have put themselves in arm's reach of a victory against Evil Geniuses. And I must say, game number 2 was quite a convincing one, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, that's definitely one way to put it. It was a little close for a moment, you know. EG, as always, were able to find a couple plays in their favor, but as soon as the big team fight 5v5 started breaking out, you just saw how powerful Gragas Qiyana is. Even though they weren't even necessarily laying their ultimates perfectly together, they were still finding so many opportunities, even by themselves, and that's before we even start mentioning Fudge in the top lane.
Yes, I think both these players, specifically Fudge and Palafox, were very key to the series, and this game is a huge focus on that. His set ultimates were great, how he was able to start fights I think were really well, and I think more so not just his follow-ups, because the dragon fight that happened where Qiyana flashed in, got a 4-man ulti into wall, and then at that point you're kind of looking at the flank that Guy was playing for. He would have taken maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds. You're just waiting on him to eventually join the team, and you're like, okay, EG will win this, right? Set comes in, smashes them with his ultimate, blows them up with a W to follow up, and he waited long enough for it to be the true damage essentially, what you're looking for. I think it was just really well played from the follow up that Fudge had.
Yep, and I think for me, the thing that really impressed me by Fudge was just even the first minute and a half into the game where he's willing to roam down to the bot lane, start counter, pushing them off the blue buff invade with a flash E on the set to get the first kill, and then he TP's top and has basically used all his resources, kind of set himself behind the early game, and EG tried to punish that. They did have a multi-man roam up to the top side, but he did such a good job surviving underneath the turret. It left everyone alive with almost only 100 health, so they couldn't continue to push the wave and take turret plates.
Yeah, I love the level 1 because oftentimes you'll see teams responding to a red side late invade with their support roaming up top. For them to have that information from the late invade that EG was setting up towards their bot side, and him just instantly responding, most teams will get a lot out of that. So that's still good on EG to recognize they were in a lost position, didn't burn flash, they just let one person die and go. But that was a really good heads up play from Fudge.
And we have to remind ourselves that Evil Geniuses did elect to go onto blue side for game number 2, but we're still bringing things out like the Ornn. So, Mark, why were they struggling so much to get things online in the early portion of the game? Was it just the oppression coming from the set or Qiyana, or is there something missing in their collaboration?
I think it's more about the team play and what they're able to get with these picks, because they did target and set behind the set for a moment there, but then he just absolutely took over the game. His scoreline ended 11-1 or something. That was the only death he had in that game. It's so impressive, and the rest of C9 works really well around the Rift Herald skirmishes and stuff, the Drake fights like you heard Raz talking about there. So I appreciate the more team focused approach with the Ornn pick. But they're not really getting anything out of it, and I wonder if they should index a little bit more to the early game, even in the top lane, where they are able to find those leads. You see the gold graph in their favor a couple times.
Yeah, most teams, I want to say, would usually elect to go set into Ornn. When you're on blue side, you should just go for a set first pick, just because you can flex it to support as well. In some situations, you can go mid. Set is incredibly flexible, and it just stomps the Ornn pick in solo lane. In the side lane matchup, you can always split versus the Ornn, and then in team fights, depending on how the teams play, Ornn at most instances will have, Set will at most instances have the more impactful team fight with his ultimate and getting into the back line, and he has a lot of setup there. So I was really surprised that EG, as you said, elected to go Ornn on blue side first pick, and even further, they were willing to go into Kalista set. They gave that pairing up. It was really awkward for me in that draft.
Being that EG are electing to go back over to red side this time around, if we're moving towards the mid lane a bit, because Gyu is one of the reasons why they're able to turn around their split effectively, do you think that maybe there's something they can do, whether in draft, to maybe open him up to a counter pick later on, or try to get him in a better position?
I think moving to red side is exactly the right thing to do. I think this is potentially a shortcoming of Gyu in general, where it feels like he is a counter pick player. He doesn't seem like he wants to take the Syndras and the Zoes and all these other things early, which Palafox is willing to do. And Palafox can also, on red side, hold his pick, wait to see the melee matchup that he's going to get, because you know Gyu wants the melee matchup, and then he just picks what's going to make a better mid-jungle 2v2, which they had post-6. So I think moving to red side is critical, and I think banning out some of those early power picks I was just saying that Palafox would like. I was surprised Syndra got taken 4-5 in the draft in game 1, and I would like to see EG try and remove that option a little bit earlier, so there's easier matchups for Gyu.
Yeah, my takeaway here is I think another addition of what would make red side really good for EG is that you can also counter pick support. You just have you would make a stronger bottom lane pretty easily, and EG naturally wants to play through their bot lane, so it would make it so their solo lanes are not nearly as bad since you know what you're picking into, and then you can kind of set up deftly to succeed.
Well, there's only a limited amount of time that EG can try to set up that success, as Fudge and friends have nudged themselves into a potential series-ending game. Find out after the break if they end up taking the crown.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.